All right, up next is formal diction. So diction is word choice. So in your essay, you are the author. You are coming up with your own style and word choice. However, in a formal English paper that you're submitting as a formal assignment, you want to use formal word choice. So even if this is not your colloquial, your informal, your normal word choice, you want to be your most formal self. Like on the website it says, you're attending an event in which formal attire is expected. That is the context in which you want to use formal attire, formal word choice, versus if you were doing a text message or just hanging out with your friends after school, your clothing, your language is different, so you want to match your audience and match the occasion. So first of all, you do not use first-person pronouns or addressing the reader as you, second person, because all formal writing needs to be written in the third-person point of view, objective person point of view. So you are an omniscient narrator, not saying, I believe this, you're just saying the this part of the argument. So instead of saying, I believe that the crucible is about mass hysteria, you would just say, the crucible is about mass hysteria. I know it's your argument because it is your paper. You don't need to say, I think, I believe, or I'm going to talk about. Okay, and you is a finger-pointing pronoun. It's also informal. It brings certain assumptions to your reader that isn't true. So you want to just use third person. You could use one, although that sounds kind of stuffy, but usually you can rephrase whatever the you would be to be a more specific and correct pronoun. You want to avoid contractions. That's where you put multiple words together separated by an apostrophe. Can't becomes cannot, isn't becomes is not. Avoid informal or colloquial and slang expressions. So you wouldn't say that the crucible is lit. You would say, it's a compelling story. Avoid non-standard diction. For example, a lot or all right. Well, you also don't use a lot. That's vague. But a lot is one word. Anyways, things that aren't cracked, or at least not cracked in formal wording. Spell out abbreviations of words. You should know that. Avoid the overuse of short and simple sentences. So you don't want to also use too many long sentences because then your reader can get lost. Sometimes what's most powerful is to pair a long sentence with a short sentence that really brings home your point. But if you use primarily short sentences, it sounds too elementary and like you don't have enough thought behind what you're saying. Okay, so yeah. That's that website. That one's a good one. What do I have on here? Okay, so you can be formal, but then it's still your writing style. So your personality can still come through, but just in a formal way. So you can still think about the kinds of words that you want to use, the kinds of sentence structure you want to use, what sort of attitude you want to get across, or your tone. Style is a little bit easier to do in fiction writing, stories, poems, things like that. But you can still make it your own. So you can look through those resources. So let's check. Let's see if there's any informal I's. It's in a quote, so that's fine. You, none. Things is just very vague. A lot is very vague. Stuff is very vague. Alright, that one looks good. Let's see if I did anything back in college. I, you, thing, a lot. Nope, I was good. That's what happens when you're an English major. Alright, how about this one? Thing, but it's in a quote, so it's okay. It's in a quote, so it's okay. So she said material things. A stronger word would have been like possessions, material possessions. It's just stronger. Yeah. Again, material things. And then my last two here. These are not actually my students. That's a quote. It's fine when it's in a quote. It doesn't count. How about you? So this essay, I realize, is sort of hard to not say you. Isolate you first. Okay. Oh, that's the only one. Oh, good. Not bad. What about thing? The only moral thing. How about the only moral choice? Just one thing to stand for. Picking just one idea, one philosophy, one belief to stand for. Any of those would be stronger, more specific than thing. Alright, so that is formal diction. So be aware of how to be formal, but you can also infuse your own personality into it as well.